Hello everybody, how are we doing? How are we all? Me?
Very well, thanks, Ollie. Yeah, real well.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty well too. Alright, I'm pretty well as well. Well they were the worst voices I've ever done. I'll do better next time, I'll try much harder. Got some pretty stupid ones, and some very stupid ones. Just gonna get them out of the way. Oh wow, it's happened again. Oh wow. So thanks to Sam's Twitter, I decided to listen to the After On podcast episode with Don Hoffman. God, Ollie, read. And wouldn't you know, he describes exactly some of my ideas about emergent consciousness. I sure do like hearing my own ideas coming from other people. Not. He didn't actually. It was kind of the just that thing I was talking about. Well, I guess obviously I wasn't going to be the first person to think about it like that. I'm not even saying he's right. It's just that, he didn't really say much that I had said, apart from, he'd done a lot of maths for it and stuff. And he knew crick from Watson and Crick. Bastard. Even though I'm probably not ever going to write the book. I was never really going to write the book probably anyway, but now that there's Lost Connections, and that's pretty much, it's got pretty much everything I would have written anyway. I was still thinking about a subtitle, because the only thing it doesn't really have is a philosophical side to it an awful lot. But anyway. Book subtitle, The Case for Egoism and Selflessness, or Through Selflessness. Through Selflessness. Because it's like, people be like, what? You can't juxtapose those, right? Yeah, that doesn't work. But it does. It's exactly correct. It's exactly what I'm talking about. In any argument, oh God, I can't even speak, let alone read. In any argument, you are always trying, implicitly, to convince your interlocutor, got that word from Sam, that they would be better off if they were convinced by your arguments. I can't say the word arguments. In any argument, you are always trying, implicitly, to convince your interlocutor that they would be better off if they were convinced by your arguments. Again, that it is in their self-interest for them to believe what you believe. Knowing this can actually help you in your attempts to convince people in such scenarios. Realising you aren't pitting your arguments against theirs in some sort of Pokemon battle, but instead trying to sell them yours as an upgrade of their current convictions. An argument can be truly rigorous and well devised, and yet be ultimately unconvincing if the recipient doesn't think it is in their interest to be convinced of it. I think Sam has kind of said opposite of this before about how, the time I remember is when he was talking to Ben Shapiro, and he was talking about how you can't help but be buffeted around by reason, and 2 + 2 = 4, and all that. So maybe I could be wrong. I haven't really thought that one through that much, but I was just thinking that's what you're always trying to do, really. More egoism shit in it. Yeah. This idea for another line in Sherlock. There's a woman seducing Sherlock, and she's like, I've always had this penis-shaped hole in my life, and I need you to fill it. It's actually pretty sexy, that, isn't it? And then this actually came from when I was texting someone, and I said, and this is what Sherlock would say, and I've always had this big vagina-shaped hole, and I want you to fill it. Vagina-shaped hole. It's kind of a hole, the shape of a hole, which you can, but it's like what? It's like it's like what? Something that keeps. There should be an S there, cropping up in something that keeps cropping up in Johann's book, which I'm still loving, and annoyed at how similar it is, to what I intended to write. Not that I would ever be. Oh, for God's sake. And annoyed at how similar it is to what I intended to write, not that I would ever be believed now. So, obviously, well, I did write. All the stuff's in my things. Although I did put quite a lot of focus on tyrosine. Okay, here's my view on the whole tyrosine thing. So I've actually just stopped taking it just the other day, because I think I know... mainly because of the Lost Connections, but... So I think what it can be... So drugs in general... and the whole time I was saying it's probably a placebo, and it might well have been. But what it did was it gave me enough of a... It managed to get me out of the permanent suicidal So I've only been off it a couple of days, so it might well be actually curing me, and I'll see the same things come back from before, but they haven't yet, and I actually feel pretty good. But what it was, let's just assume it was a placebo and effective, and no more effective than a sugar pill, right? That was still enough to alter my state of mind and allow me to change my perspective and all that. Yeah, really had to change the perspective. Yeah. And obviously later on I started talking about how the one thing that seemed obvious to me was the whole sense of connection, and not connection, it wasn't the words I was using, but it just seemed obvious to me through egoism that outsourcing to other people, which is apparently in the book he mentions, is probably a more Eastern idea already as part of the culture. But and I don't see why I would know that, or why I would have the same thing. But it struck me as if you were a true egoist, you would likely be an altruist, because it's most likely to work out best for you. So yeah. Okay, that was really bad talking there, Ollie. You need to work on that. Not that I would ever be believed now. Is that he keeps talking... something that keeps covering up in Johann's book is that he keeps talking about how depression is often considered as something being wrong with the depressed person's brain, a malfunction. Now, I'm fairly sure he addressed this in one section with a neuroscientist who mentioned neuroplasticity, but I don't think it made it explicitly clear enough. I'm using a lot of explicit, implicit, and inherent and stuff these days. It is not a rigorously logical step from a malfunction in the brain to treating it with chemicals. Just because you have a malfunction in the brain doesn't mean that. Okay. For multiple reasons. 1. Chemicals may not be the optimal or even only way, or even only way to fix the malfunction, if they fix it at all, and don't in fact create more problems. Secondly, something might have caused the malfunction, and this is really the essence of his book, and failing to address this root cause will always fail to fix the issue. Well, that's not a logical step either. But, well, failing to address the root cause will always fail to address the root cause. So yeah, I think it's... I doubt very much that there isn't a chemical imbalance in depressed people's brains, but how that chemical imbalance came to be is very likely, I would say, is almost certainly going to... Well, this is what the book's all about. And I think I kind of felt this before a little bit, but anyway. Yeah, I didn't for a while, and he actually mentions bipolar as being possibly inheritable. One of the kind of exceptions to the rule, but it's... anyway. And I have a mother who has bipolar, although she's doing very, very well and has been for a very long time, and I think, I like that. This is nice. But yeah, I think you get all the stuff right, then make it very hard for yourself to become depressed. That's what you're trying to do, really. Okay. The essence of my book and message would be: you have no idea how well your life can go for you, and even less of an idea of how to live that life without the help and guidance of others, even others who lived in different eras from your own. So listen to wisdom and help others so that they can give you the best life possible. Wow, Ollie. Wow. But it's just realising that you're trying to do what's best for you, but what is best for you is what's best for other people, because they're going to let you have a better life if it means that they get to have a better life, right? So it's positive sum. It's a gestalt. It's a gestalt. And a beautiful amalgam. This is an idea that struck me, and it's probably quite a stoic thought. Anyway, it's regarding nerves and how people get when they are anxious about a job or a job interview, or anything really. I imagine myself speaking to someone who is a wreck of nerves just before they're about to leave to start their new job, and this is what I say, because I'm, in my head I'm actually a special person. Of course you're nervous. You've never done this before. Of course you're nervous. You've never done this before. It would be absurd if you weren't nervous. There are all sorts of things that can go wrong. But are you going to go there trying to make all these things go wrong? No. So So if any of those things did happen, it wouldn't even be your fault. So you're getting nervous about things which you can't even do, and if you did do them, it wouldn't even be you who's responsible. Actually, I mean, it seems like a bit of a trick, that one, so I'll address it here. And yes, maybe you are nervous because you're afraid you're going to make all sorts of mistakes by accident. But this is exactly what the nervousness is for. It's making you hypervigilant, or preferably just vigilant, to reduce the likelihood of those things happening. But it should be obvious that if the nervousness goes too far, it would be worse than not being nervous at all. So some nervousness is good, better in fact, for helping you achieve your aim, but don't get carried away by it. Know that because you are going in. Know that because. Oh God, I can't say this with the right intention. Inflection. Know that because you are going in with good intentions, any bad occurrences weren't because you willed them into existence. There you go. Right. Okay. Great. There we go. Okay. Right. Here we go. Jesus. Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Nah, just kidding. Bye now.